Welcome back. This is Stuart Trung from Commercial Financing Experts Academy. Today we're going to talk about expectations. We have a lot of expectations from our clients when it comes to residential financing. They have to provide upfront documents, similar to what one of my favorite colleagues' quote is, no docs, no talks. You know who that is from. You know what? I have the same belief and the same philosophy when it comes to commercial financing. But that's out of the way. Once we receive all the documents and everything already, what have you learned in the past few files, commercial files that you've done recently, David, that you can perhaps give us a lesson that you learned? First of all, let's talk about the lesson that quickly go over. Lessons that you've learned from the recent, the lesson learned meaning some mistakes or something bad happened. So
right.
Well, you hear all the goodies, not give all the bad stuff too.
Two big ones from the most recent commercial file, which just closed a week ago.
Congratulations, man!
Congratulations to you. The biggest one absolutely is client expectations. And I went through expectations and timelines when I first met with the client, but when we were about 2 weeks into the process and we were still asking for more documents and more complete documents and explanation on documents, both of the clients, as a husband and a wife, and they phoned me separately within 1 day of each other and asked me why the whole process was taking so long. They said, when we bought our house, we went to the bank, we gave them some papers, we signed, and 3 days later our mortgage was approved. And they were frustrated that we were, at this point, just 2 weeks into the process, which ultimately turned out to be a 5-month process before we finally completed on this. But I've learned from that is to make sure right up front to very strongly set expectations with the client, to let them know that this is not going to be a 3-day process. That even if we had every piece of paper conceivably that could be asked for up front, it's still not going to be a 3-day or a 1-week process. And because of some changes they made with legal and accounting advice through the purchasing process and some requirements from the lenders, it ended up taking almost 5 months from first conversation to closing last week. And that was even beyond my own expectations, so I learned also to temper my own personal expectations of commercial files.
So upfront expectations, clients should have been advised already ahead of time.
I should have made it a stronger point with them and made sure that they understood that this was going to be a several-month process rather than a several-day process.
That's right.
And the only thing they had to judge it against was the purchase of a residential property they had made a couple years earlier. And it quite likely was a 3-day process for them. And I just had to continue to explain to them that this was a very different process, that they were buying it under a brand new company, and it took time to get the companies formed, it took time for the accountants to get everything, took time to get documents from the lawyers to satisfy the lender, and because it was a brand new company, there was just a lot of challenges around it. So it exceeded my own expectations. So I now have, I think, going forward, I'll be a better judge of how long a deal could potentially take to put together. But certainly to temper my clients to know that it's not as easy as buying a house.
That's right. And what was your expectations that you had expected of this file from the beginning, and then what you learned from that?
I expected,
so the advisor's expectation.
Yeah, I expected it to go smoother from what the deal was first proposed as, what the purchase was and how they were going to purchase it and where the cash was coming from for the down payment. I formed my own sort of plan and opinion of how the deal was going to go, but it changed vastly as we moved forward. It went from them buying it in their personal names to buying it in a corporate name, and then them changing their mind from that and setting up a different corporate structure for their business and to own this real estate. We had to get a lease in place to lease it back to the corporation. So there was a lot of moving pieces that I underestimated at the time. So part of the client's frustration stemmed from me not properly preparing them for it.
So I think part of that is not just about what your expectation is, that they keep moving the goalposts on you.
Yes.
Literally.
Yeah, we had three or four subject removal extensions and closing date extensions Originally, I started this file in August, second or third week of August, and the original closing date was the middle of October. So 2 months, basically, 7 weeks. Which, if everything had stayed the way it was, would have worked just fine.
Yeah.
And it ended up we didn't close until the 4th week of December, the second to last business day of the year, to close a commercial file when lawyers and notaries are all on vacation.
So add those what not to do.
Never close a commercial file in the last week of December. We tried to extend it into January, and the seller refused. The seller wanted to get the real estate off of their books before
That's
the
right.
end of the count. Their fiscal year was December 31st.
Yeah.
They wanted the building off the books before the end of the year, which added some more stress to it.
But it ended with a successful story.
It ended up a successful story. I picked up a check yesterday for $25,000.
Right on.
And
the secondary financing component was.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That was another. That was another $8,000.
Yeah, he forgets about the $8,000 because he's got 25 grand. That's a good problem to have in the new year,
Good
right?
problem to have.
All right, thank you very much for sharing, David,
so.
and I look
Appreciate
forward to
your help.
another video from you as well.
All right.
To connect more.
Thanks.
Have yourself an awesome day, guys. Take care. Have yourself a good one.